Welcome in, welcome in. I'm your host, Dustin Wheeler, and this is Spiritually Kinky. Welcome into episode 10, where we are going to be talking about claiming the throne, power, presence, and the holy fuck yes. Yes, I did just add that fuck, because if it's not a fuck yes, then what are you doing? So you've done the inner work. You've questioned the programs, released the shame, did the shadow work, dance with your shadows, and open up the door to desire. But let me ask you a question. Are you on the throne of your life? Or still waiting for permission to sit there? Let me just tell you that this episode is all about embodied power. Not the kind you hustle for or beg for or manifest with a vision board. The kind that already lives in you. Babe, this is about claiming it, holding it, and radiating it in your presence, your relationships, your decisions, and your sacred fuck yes. This is why we start with vision, with value, and with voice. This is the claiming. Because this power is not something that you earn. It's something that you claim. You claim your queen energy. You claim your king energy. And I'm going to show you how to move out of the healing chair and onto your throne, reclaiming the embodied presence, decision making, and energy of somebody who is not hoping to be chosen, but chooses themselves over and over and over again. And I'm going to invite you to anchor into the full sense of personal authority, spiritually kinkiness, and creative force, not someday, but now. This is where we get to move from programmed to powerful. Because the difference between power that comes from force versus power that comes from source is all about the structure. It's all about the structure. We're forcing when we're in the problem structure. We're flowing when we're in the creative structure. So we need to understand that waiting for someday, if I have this, then I will do this, right? That's just the old program. It's the if-then sentence. If I have this, if I have the relationship, when I have the money, when I do this, when I have this, then I will be, right? And it's how we've been programmed. But it keeps you in the waiting until you're ready. And babe, you're not going to be ready. You just got to start with where you are with what you have. And there was this beautiful story that I heard from Eddie Pinero, and it was about the song Iris. And I cannot think of the guy's name, and I love that song. But Eddie was telling this story about how he was listening to this podcast and how the guy who wrote Iris, which is such a beautiful, life-changing song from City of Angels that just has had such an impact on my love and my life and everything. And he was talking about how he created that song, and he was like just gotten divorced, living out of a hotel, like had a broken guitar, with only 3 or 4 strings, but got this opportunity and he went. And as he was going there, he had like 2 lines. And so many of the things that he created in that song was what was surrounding him. And he just patchworked it together. You start with what you have with where you are. And Spiritually Kinky is very much patchworked. It was like this thing came in and this thing came in and this thing came in. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful. Right. And to me, that is when we get into the creation mode. That is when we get into the power that comes from source. Taking the next inspired action, catching the gift, seeing it, giving it our presence, choosing, and then keep flowing in that direction. Because you can wait your whole life to be ready, and you'll get to the end of your life and then you'll realize that it's too late, right? It's too late. And so to me, that was the biggest regret um, that I could possibly think of. That was the most painful thing I could ever experience. And so, now I just give it a go. But I didn't start out that way. Um, so you gotta take action, but you gotta take action in a creative structure. That is the key. You gotta take action. And so that's why we teach it. But there's a whole lot going on. There's a lot of cultural disempowerment of the feminine. And I say we use these words, we use these labels, um, the wounded feminine, um, controlling, overprotecting, what were the other ones? Overly independent, not able to receive, and like over functioning, right? And I can do it all of myself, and distrust of men. So the wounded masculine is the not standing in protection, right? Bouncing from one thing to the next, um, not showing up in value. And so, again, there's a lot of just disempowerment going on. We're creating from our wounds. We're creating from our pain and not our power. It's the programming, it's the structure, right? There's nothing wrong with us. We're not broken. So, and with this path, right, we get to move from performance to presence. And when we step into our presence, baby, you're magnetic. You're magnetic, and you can create whatever it is you want to create, and you get to enjoy this life with your presence. And that is the gift, right? That is the gift, because that's what we have. So, but I know the waiting. And it was really funny because there was my favorite content creator right now who just is, he's, well, my feet is full up with him intentionally, because he's got great energy. And for true transformation, right, it takes whole feminine and whole masculine energy. So his energy is very, like, I can feel his energy all the way over here. So he's powerful in his presence. Um, but he was talking about women having like big D energy, even more so than a lot of men right now. And I was like, yeah, I'm like that. I think that is really true. Like, especially when he was talking about the traits for that, it was like confidence, assertiveness, like you do something, you say you're going to do, like, and you show up and you do it, and all of that. And he was saying that was the big D energy. And but it got me thinking, and I did a video on it, but for some reason my tech didn't work, so the video didn't come out. But I was thinking about the energies that I kind of ran through in my life. And the first one was like the warrior, and it was like the controlling, protector. And then it was into the princess, the victim, that I'll wait, you know, um, I'll wait for somebody to come save me. I'll wait until I'm ready. I'll just wait. And then moving into queen energy, and that's just wholeness. That's just creating from I am creator. And just owning just owning that energy, right? And what those traits are and the reciprocity of those traits and the wholeness of it, because the truth is that we are whole. We're whole. We are not broken. And this is just a remembering of who you really are. And you get to claim it. But you get to claim it. So, um, I think when you put on a crown, nobody is coming to crown you, right? Because you were born royalty. The crown has been sitting in your closet, right? This is your moment to put it on, and you get to choose. So you need to know, like, where in your life you're still waiting to be picked, healed, approved, invited, right? What does it mean to you to sit on the throne of your life? And whose voice are you still subconsciously asking for permission? They're all really good questions, right? And notice what comes up. Just notice what comes up. Because here's what you begin to understand and what power really feels like is power is not loud or dominating. It's quiet. It's clear. It's rooted and it's steady. It shows up in how you breathe, how you speak, how you walk into a room, and how you hold your vision without flinching. True power feels safe, not for others, but first and foremost for you. This is where you go from doing to being, the embodied signal of self authority. So here's a little cue that you can do, a little practice, right? And I definitely recommend doing the meditations, but these are like quick little things where you can ground your feet, you can lift your chin, strengthen your spine, breathe into your belly. You can put your hand on your belly, you can put your hand on your heart, and just say this to yourself, like, I am the source, I am the creator, I choose, I allow. I am the source, I choose, I allow, I receive. And then this is how you begin to calibrate your field to I am the one. Because, baby, if you're not the main character in your life, who you playing? Who are you playing? Are you like an NPC? Is that right? An NPC? I can never remember that name. The non character, like the non main characters in the video games. I don't know what they're called, but power isn't something that you prove. It's something you become. This is one of the reasons why I love wolves, is because the alpha male and the alpha female. First off, loyalty, right? But the alpha male and the alpha female aren't there to sacrifice the pack for them, aren't there to, um, lead them into danger. Like, none of that. Like, they have the responsibility, the role and the responsibility to lead them in a good direction, to lead them with presence and lead them with power. I know I was almost Team Jacob because of this, because I do love the wolves. But the other thing is that the alpha will also be the one walking at the very back of the pack, making sure that nobody gets left behind. Presence, presence. That is, mm, yeah, it just, is so powerful when you can embody that kind of just natural power. Now, the next one, the holy yes, the holy fuck yes. So let me just tell you that your yes is sacred. And if it's not coming from the throne, it's not really yours. Now, I'm going to explain what I mean by that. But most people are walking around giving their yeses and giving their no's away like they are valueless. And you have to own your yes as fucking sacred. So most people are saying yes from pressure, programming, fear of loss, or old people pleasing patterns, right? We're saying yes from our pain. We're not saying yes from our pleasure. And saying no from the throne is just as holy as saying yes, right? Because if it's not a fuck yes, then it's a fuck no. Honor your no. Honor your no. There's a practice that is called big ones, little ones, and I love it because it goes back generations. And there was a family suffering contract of sexual abuse in my line, I think in a couple of places. Um, but what's amazing about this change process is you go back to the woman, the queen, you go back to the queen, you go back to the king, the oldest in the family line that can speak, that speaks for the family. And like to me, this is the alpha, right? Like they speak for the family line. And mine were always very interesting, what I imagined. But anyway, they stand in their power and they stand in their presence and they stomp their staff and they say that it stops here. It stops now. And their voice is heard throughout the whole line because of the power and the presence. And this is really what comes of our yes. This is really what comes of our no. So every yes you give is building a world. So you choose with reverence, you choose with honor, right? You choose with commitment, you choose with follow through, you choose with value, or you say no. And you choose no with strength. You choose no with solidity. You choose no with no, like Gandalf, right? No, thou shalt not pass. It doesn't have to be that dramatic, but I always think of that. Um, because here's the thing: is you're leaking energy, and with all the unaligned yeses, the fastest way to erode your confidence is to not keep your commitment. And so, I believe me, I know, I know, I squandered my yeses and my nos for years. Um, but you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to this and you got to own it. And then when you can do this with co-creating with somebody, owning your yeses and your nos is super fun. So what would change in your life if you treated your yes like gold? And where are you craving to say yes, but where are you still holding back? Because a holy yes is not impulsive. It's an act of devotion to your future self. Let that sink in. And then leading with vision, not wounds. You're not here to lead from your trauma. You're here to lead from your truth. You are the creative force within. Operating from the throne means making choices from vision, not pain, not avoidance. You get to be the one who names the direction. The others calibrate to you. So in relationships, throne energy, it's co-creation. Co-creation, not codependence. And let me just throw a little bit of spiritually kinky flavor in it because power is a turn on. Power is a turn on. Presence is a turn on. Presence is where the magical moment lives. Presence is where all the opportunity is. Presence is where you can literally collapse timelines. You can embody sensations that you just have never felt before. You can go places you have never been before in the presence. It is amazing. And it's such a turn on. And when you embody yours, you invite others into theirs. Let me just remind you that the throne is not cold and lonely. It's hot, it's juicy, it's wet, it's magnetic. Let it feel bold. Let it feel delicious. Slightly outrageous at first because it's you unfiltered. So here's our deep questions. Are you leading your life based on what you're afraid of or what you desire to create? I like this one. Do you let your partner or community see you in your power? Or do you dim it to feel safe? Oh, I dimmed it for so long, especially in the corporate world, dimmed it for so long to be safe. But I will say, not that I've had a partner, but my community sure has seen me in my power. And I have been a lot of places. I've talked to a lot of people in my community, and they have definitely seen me in my power. But I used to dim my light. That's what this journey is for, is to be a bright light. And come to find out, it actually is my spiritual king too. So as we create this path together to be fully seen, deeply felt, and wildly free, it's how we roll. What would it look like to rule your world with grace, pleasure, and conviction? I know what mine would look like. I know what mine would look like. So when you sit on the throne of your life, life begins to rise to meet you. This is the quantum law of embodiment. Here's what I want to leave you with is you do not have to wait until you're perfect, healed, or validated to claim your power. The way that I claimed my power was my vulnerability. This is raw, this is real, whether you're listening to this on my recording from my computer, whether you're watching this on YouTube, this is raw, this is real, this is me, this is unpolished, right? You start with what you have with where you are. But in that, you claim your power. You are allowed to lead, speak, create, and love from the throne of your life. Your yes and your no are holy instruments of frequency, of vibration, of reality creation. You are creative force energy, babe. You are literally made of stardust. Your power, your presence, and your purpose was to allow yourself to be fully seen and shine your light bright. And being powerful doesn't mean dominating others. It's not about submission, it's about surrender. It means taking radical responsibility for your energy, choices, and desires. So this week, I want to invite you to try one thing. Wake up and sit on your throne. I want you to visualize it. I want you to feel it. I want you to ask, what would this version of me who is already crowned choose today? Speak, move, choose, decide from the throne. You are the creator. You get to be the primary creator in your life. You get to choose. Because, baby, the crown isn't heavy when it's made for you. I hoped you liked this episode. You guys, we are almost to the big finish. Can you believe it? Now I know if you binge this, it's just like it's one after the other. But the truth is that there was some time that went in between these episodes, and a lot has happened through this creation process. And it's been such a pleasure to be able to sit with you and just be with you, do what I love, and know that, in the near future, you are going to be there listening to this, hearing my voice, and just allowing me to pour all of my heart, soul, energy, love, everything into this. Like, this is what this is for me. And I'm just so thankful and so grateful that you made your way here. And, we can have a lot of fun. Like, we can definitely have a lot of fun. And I cannot believe we are almost at the big finish, right? For episode 11. But like I said before, it's just round one, right? Unpolished, raw, real, but you get to see how the foundational structure is built. And, we get to do this step by step, right? And episode 11 is going to be good because there's a sacred reveal, right? And we're going to really be talking about mm, my kink, my crown, and my creation. And if you guys know, episode 11, 11, 11 is very special to me. I am a master number 11, which I don't pretend to know what that means, but it always has seemed like somehow, some way, it was someone who had been around for a while that knew things, and that always kind of fits. So, we've got a lot of labels, and, I just don't, I get them, and I understand numerology and um, frequency and numbers and all of that. But, we can just get really lost in definitions. And so I just lean into connecting to who I really am. I lean into what do I want to create, and I take the next inspired action, and I just try and be as present as possible in my life. And I have fun doing it. And I have fun doing it in the rain. I have fun doing it in my car. I have fun doing it with other people. I have fun doing it alone. I listen to music. I sing love songs. I bask in the sun. I play with my animals. I love the life that I'm living, right? I love the life that I'm living. And that is something that um, has come with that standing on the stone that I am the creator. I choose what I'm creating, and my intentional choices have leveled up for sure. And, this is my walk of vulnerability. If you haven't seen the origin story, I tried to start that a couple times and it took me a few, right? Because it was pretty raw, it was pretty real, it was pretty vulnerable. And I don't pretend to know what's going to happen with all this, but I do know that everybody I talk to, it's resonating. I've poured my love, my heart, my soul, my blood, my tears, my cum, like all of it. I have poured all of it into this, and with my heart energy, with all of the love that I have to give that I was always told was too much. I recognize that I have a big purpose in this, and it's my mission and it's my message to bring this to you in a way that is deliciously dusted. And if you know, you know, um, because this is yeah, this is my story, right? This is my story. This is my hero's journey, and you know, I can't wait to connect with you in yours, because if you were here and you're still with me, guess what? This is your hero's moment. And if you are not familiar with a hero's journey, you can look it up, but understand that there are different places and different phases of your hero's journey. We're obsessed with it. We tell stories about it. You can see it in all of the movies. Um, and there's different points, right? There's different points. And there's like two different parts of the hero's journey, and you go through it as the student, and then you go through it as the teacher, and then you come back and you deliver the reward to the people. um Summed up super simple. I just simplified that completely. um but there's different moments in there, and so you are being called to ignite your light and to shine bright. And we teach you how to do that. And we teach you how to do that in a structure, a flowing structure of money online, so that you can create time, money, freedom, and enjoy your life with presence and enjoy your life with passion and purpose and create the life that you love, whatever that is for you, whatever your flavor is. I know what that is for me now. So that's what I'm creating. But you guys, your support means everything to me. If you haven't signed up yet, subscribed, get your gifts. So many awesome gifts that are going to help you with a shift, going to help you transition gracefully. But you do need a coach. You do need a guide. Don't try and do it on your own. Do not use the excuse that you don't have money because I have a $47 offer. Do not use the excuse that you don't have time because this is your life. If you are not willing to make time for your life, then what are you doing? This is the conscious education level up that you have been looking for. That's why you are still here. Why you're still with me. That's why this resonates so much right to your heart. And, it just so happens because of my, I needing to prove my worth, I learned a lot of capabilities and I learned a lot of skill. And when I just infuse my energy and my presence into what I'm doing and I just allow my light to shine, like people feel it. People feel it and their lights light up and they get brighter. And whether we're in our lives for a moment or whether we're in our lives for a lifetime, it's this beautiful light ripple effect. And, we're here to light it up. So if any of that sounds good to you and you want to learn how to create a money flowing structure, let me just tell you, I have learned from the very best. Christopher Duncan, Laurel Portier, and Dino Gomez. Like they are the marketing strategy, business, money, millionaire gurus on how to actually create effective marketing strategies in the creative structure, in the flowing structure of money equals value that doesn't require your time, that just generates wealth, that generates wealth, that generates wealth. And that's what we're building. So, but growth is slow to start and we are building it. But we appreciate your love and your support across all social media channels. We are Spiritually Kinky. Please leave comments. Please tell us what you liked. Please tell us what your sauce is. Please tell us what your flavor is. Please practice with us. Please engage with us because let me just tell you, when you are starting new on social media, when you start from scratch, it can be slow to start. It can absolutely be slow to start, but all of the comments, all of the love, all of the support, all of the I see yous just help boost us up in the algorithm. And, that's just helpful for everybody, right? So share this with a friend. Make sure you subscribe. And until episode 11, you guys, I love you. I see you. And I'll see you in episode 11. Bye.